hello to the three people in my audience who decided to join me tonight. So glad you could do that, because I've got a little something different in mind here. See, I found a bunch of really old sketchbooks, and I thought it would be nice if we had a little browse through this nice catalog we got here. See, see? Notice how it's a sketchbook, and notice how there are a lot of these. There's even more of them, but we'd be here all day, so we'll just go over a few of them. Maybe we won't get all the way through, maybe we will, who knows. But yeah, let's start that. Okay, starting off with the idea diary here. This one is pretty old. You can see one of the few instances I actually recorded the date. You can see 2022 right there. I actually got this in Singapore. We were headed to the Philippines and we stopped at Singapore for like 9 hours. So there was a stationery store in the airport, and I bought two sketchbooks, a tiny one and a big one. This is the big one, and it's definitely seen better days. It was a very good sketchbook. I remember having a lot of fun here. So let's crack it open. I was never one to fill these in, so I just kind of left them blank. So to start off, oh look at that, we have Coco. Look at her, and we'll get to him later. A nice drawing of Coco here. I don't know if I did these in Singapore or not. Most of these I probably will have done it in the Philippines, because that's where we arrived afterwards, and I was doing a lot of drawing in the Philippines, just to pass the time. Didn't have access to a gaming PC over there, of course, so kind of had to do everything on paper. Just checking anything. Nope, blank. I'm not one to really fill the first page. I don't know why. It's just, you want the first page of a sketchbook to be like a really good looking, right? So I don't tend to do it out of fear, I suppose. But moving on, Jenko. This fella I have not done in a long time. I do cherish him in memory, but he's a bit of a blank slate of a character, and there's not much to do with him other than having be super wholesome and all that. But maybe I'll revisit him. Maybe I'll make him a little better. Who knows? Big Cheez-Its energy. That's a pinnacle of my humor in 2022, I suppose. Not much else to say here. I don't know who that is. It's kind of ugly. Let's move on from that. Blank pages. Would you look at that? Oh, this is my favorite page. Whole lot of nothing on there. Junk page with junk. I think that was an attempt to do a sketch of a plush dog that I own, that I have owned pretty much my entire life and still own. It's actually over on my bed still. The dog's been around the world, his name's Malachi. A car, a really bad looking car. Another really bad looking car. Attempts at faces with necks that look like fireman's hoses. Just the most Vivzipop-esque proportions you've ever seen. I don't know if this was when I was still big on Vivzipop or before or after. I don't know. I can't remember the timeline here. See, we have John. John's an older character of mine that I also have not revisited. He's an anthropomorphic wolf husky crossbreed or whatever that I made before I fully admitted to being a furry. So I tried to make him as not flamboyant as possible. So he's just a normal guy, really. I think he was a detective, like a police detective, not the glamorous kind. Well, I mean, glamorous. He could go to alternate dimensions because he had a watch, because he was an inventor and he could make watches that transported him into alternate realities. And that's an evil version of him called Jovan. Notice his bow tie. I was big on bow ties back then as well. Not a lot else to say, really. This was going to be something. I don't know what it was. Notice Smith here. Something to do with Smith, probably. Attempts. Actually, I still really like this sketch. This page has a lot of character. as much as I believe I've improved, I do look back on a lot of my older stuff really fondly because I did have like a nice looking style. I like the style I have now, but I also like how I used to draw. Sometimes I wish I could recapture it. I haven't tried. Maybe I will at some point, but I'm a bit busy, so who knows? Faces and a cat, Jenko, him blowing bubbles. You can see his mullet in action because he has a mullet and hair that looks like ears because he used to be a protege. But then I designed him if he was a human. And I liked the human design way more, and it just kind of stuck. That happens a lot. I'll make a furry character and then I'll do a human version, and I'll like the human version a lot more, and just draw the human version and just kind of abandon the furry one. Funny how that works. Jaeger. This is actually a friend's character. I went to high school with this guy. Still friends with him. We go to college together now. His name was Jaeger. He lived in a city that was divided into sectors, and each of these sectors had different technological levels. Like the first sector would be super futuristic, and then one of them would be like 80s level technology or medieval technology. It was a unique idea. I don't know how good of an idea you would call that, but it was definitely unique. It was definitely unique, and I did like his designs because I drew him here. Very Clone Wars inspired, if you could tell by the armor design. But yeah, he's pretty cool. That's Jaeger. Side profile of Smith with a pupil. That's not. Ooh, glad I don't draw Smith like that anymore. We're just gonna move past that. Look at him, just the most Visipop-esque of proportions. He's about skinny as a twig there. Look at him. He's not the giant slab of beef that modern Smith is supposed to be. So just moving on. More Janko. All I want to do is draw Janko. Yeah, I had a phase where he's pretty much the only character I would consistently draw. And then there's Lucas the artist. Used to be God, but now isn't. That's lore stuff. I'm not going to get into that. Strange TV thing. Just let it be known, I did it before SMG4. Okay. Ooh, meow. A mech. I drew this on the plane, I'm pretty sure. I can still remember that. I just wanted to draw a giant mech suit. It looks big and intimidating, but it had the face of a battle cat. Well, not specifically a battle cat, just a cat that happens to resemble what the battle cats look like. Ooh, this was for an RP server. I had an idea for this villain that I never followed through on, because I tend to do that a lot. He was supposed to be like this guy. Oh, I'm trying to remember what his whole deal was. But he had a scrap body, and he made a bunch of other scrap protogen bodies, and he could see through all of them. And I think his name was going to be the Overseer, something like that. Something to do with screams. But, moving on. Not much else to say here. Winnie the Pooh, because this was a meme that wasn't dead at the time of drawing this, I think. Either that or it's just slow on the update. Not much to say there. And more Janko. This time he's in an astronaut suit. I actually still really like this sketch. I think it's got a lot of character. The stars don't really look like stars, but what are you going to do, man? Moving on. Another Janko. Wow, that seems to be a real theme here. Here he is with a man bun, because I don't experiment with my characters having different styles nearly enough. Kennedy from Clone High. I've never actually watched all of Clone High. The meme was big at the time, so I drew it because it looked cool. I didn't even know this was supposed to be JFK for the longest time, but yeah. Heart of the Sunrise. I'm not entirely sure what this was supposed to be. I think I was just trying to do something cool looking. Looks just kind of cool. I mean, I tried, didn't I? Maybe it was an Ultra Kill reference, because I know I was still big on that at the time. Ooh, got a bit of stickage here. Uh-oh. Yeah, I haven't opened this in a very long time. And just a city, a quaint little city. How lovely. I used paint to do the sky, poster paints. that I got in the Philippines at the National Bookstore. That place was my church in the Philippines. I was in there all the time because they just had way more stuff than any stationery store here in Scotland had. So, yeah. Clearly, I closed it before it, dried all the way, and it's just been closed for about 3 years. So, Jenko with another man bun. This is. I can't remember what his name was, but he was supposed to be Smith's German partner. Typical Russian German, partnership. His name was something Wolfgang. Fritz, I think. Fritz Wolfgang. I can't remember. But I've not used him since. He is. Yeah, I've pretty much never used him. He's an abandoned character. I don't really plan on going back to him anytime soon. Ah, yes. 7. The ever iconic 7. One of my favorite character designs I think I've done. I just have so much fun drawing this guy. He's based on just an image of a cat, like a little kitten wearing a 7-Eleven backpack. You've probably seen it. I turned him into a character and I named him 7 because I'm not original, and cats having weird names is something I like. I don't know who that is. The Doctor. Yes, him. Plague Doctor. I like Plague Doctors, and I think I had just made this character at the time. I also haven't done a lot with him. See, this sketchbook, that seems to be a theme with the sketchbook as well, not just Jenko, but just in general. It's full of characters that I do absolutely nothing with. I've just kind of moved on from them. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, who knows. Keeping with the theme, that's Kelly and Morrison. Kelly was this cannibal kitsune killer kind of character, and I just remember saying that his voice claim would be Giancarlo Esposito, which, to be perfectly honest, kind of wasted on this guy that I do nothing with. They're kind of interesting. They're just inserts. Not much else to say. More cats, just sketching. That was an attempt at drawing an Enclave power armor helmet from memory. And maybe I didn't even realize that at the time. I don't know. Strange flame person. More 7, being whimsical. His sister, Pepsi. His ever so shy sister, Pepsi. Clearly you can see he's the go-getter. Pepsi was the quiet, reserved one. There are many cats on this page. Indeed there are. Past me. Indeed there are. Small Krieger. I couldn't think of the word there. A tiny little Krieger. Look at that. In this book, I was a lot more stylized, way less realistic with my proportions. And I was just trying my best to demonstrate that. I was just drawing anything at this point, so... This is Cameron. Her design has changed since then. Kind of cool. I like her. More tiny Kriegers. Tiny Space Marine. Apparently I didn't really like it. At the time, I had highlighters, but I didn't have pens readily available to me. So I would just color things in with the highlighters because it looked cooler. Or actually, I think I did have pens. I just liked the look of the highlighter coloring. So I would do that a lot. There's just being real silly. Hey, look, Dr. Bright Jenko. Because, lay Dr. Bright, who can't do anything because he's not allowed to. And I was big into SCP at the time. And decided, hey, let's make Jenko Dr. Bright. Because I was doing a lot of alternate versions of my characters as well. There's Aiden with a big nose for some reason. A Axolothian partisan. Before I had the Alma's 9 Imperium, I had Axoloth, which is just the Imperium of Man from Warhammer 40k, but axolotls. And this was one of them. This was one of the Space Marines. I think this is Brother Linares. Yeah. A novel concept at the time. I used to be obsessed with axolotls. Now it's moths. That obsession has been replaced by moths. I don't intend to not be obsessed with moths anytime soon. Oh, look who it is. Look who it is. It's this guy. I still really like this drawing, even though I don't like that design anymore. It's Jack. He doesn't look anything like this anymore. Because, again, very Vivzipop-esque character design. And I did a rehaul an overhaul of his design recently, so he doesn't look anything like this. But I still do like the drawing. And there's the artists. There's Eggroll, Jenko, Lucas, Aiden. And this is Quint, the old version of Quint before I turned him into a shrimp, because I thought that would be funny. He was always supposed to be some kind of sea captain design. He had an X on his breast there, like a badge, and my dad thought it was a cross, and he told me to change it. I remember that vividly. This was also drawn in the Philippines. Fairly certain all of this was done in the Philippines. More stuff. Another partisan. There's more Quint. There's the bear from Toon Blast. I was playing that a lot of the time. Some old guy, as you can see. Ooh, ha ha ha. It's the character of He Who Shall Not Be Named, because we like to pretend that he doesn't exist. I remember when he asked me to draw his character, because I didn't know anything about him at the time, and I thought he was cool, or his characters were kind of edgy, and I thought that was cool. So I drew one of his characters, and I have since just... He's been stricken from the record. He doesn't exist anymore. But I didn't erase him because we fell out, or because he left the friend group. Kicked out of the friend group, I should say. It's because I thought if my dad were to go through my sketchbook, he would think the bunny looked too evil. And I think that's funny. Ooh. Here's an aspect of Jack that I just kind of abandoned. His ability to love. Originally, he was not able to love, like physically unable to. And for a brief moment he could, because he asked to be able to, and he was given the ability, and he fell in love with the female version of Jenko. Jenny, spelled with a G, because that's not, stupid at all. But I like the drawing. I don't like the couple, and I don't like this design. But fond memories, fond memories. Oh, again, him. I'm just gonna scroll right past that. Fox, I had like calligraphy pens here, so I was trying that out. Some mechs. What a mess indeed. More mechs, more attempts using this calligraphy pen. I got ink everywhere. I didn't know how to use that shit. Ooh, it's Keisha. She was Protogen Jenko's love interest, and she was like this rough and tumble wastelander kind of character. This was specifically the alternate universe where it was like a winter wasteland, like a nuclear winter. So designs, hands. I've always loved drawing mechanical hands, at least, because they're blocky and that's easier. It's so hard indeed to come up with different mech head designs. I like these ones, but I think I copied these ones, which explains why they don't suck. And more Keisha. Oh, and this guy. His name was Tanker, spelled with a Q, because I didn't know that was a YouTuber at the time. His design is blatantly ripped off from... What the hell is he called? Brain something. The scientist from Lost Light, from More Than Meets the Eye, the IDW comics. I was big on those at the time as well. I can't remember his name. I think that was Keisha. I don't know. Move on. Yeah. Attempts at drawing... I think it's Tanker. Yeah, there he is. But I changed his name to Rocket, because I still wanted to keep a Q in his name. He was partners with Keisha. I do like this design. A little complicated, but... Hey, it's the Crystal Fox guy. I forget his name. Nicholas, yeah. Me and Agel used to talk about this character a lot. More Rocket. Cascade. My old Transformers OCs, except him, he's real, that's Kaon. I vividly remember drawing that one. We were in a hotel in the Philippines about to check out, and it was a very nice hotel. We found a giant spider outside once. I remember that. Good times. Cascade. My old Transformers OCs, him and his giant nose, and Cascade. He was like a demolitions specialist or something. Here he is again, looking ever so moody. I think that's supposed to be Espelon Prime from... Yes, the Espelon Prime from Diamond Bolt's old comics when he was a child. Because I've always watched Diamond Bolt. I still love watching Diamond Bolt. Machine, I was watching Obsolete at the time, and I tried to make it like a realistic military mech suit. So here's a product of that. Nicholas again. More Nicholas. Nicholas again. Nicholas. A bunch of Nicholas. A double page spread of Nicholas stuff. His house. He's a shut-in. He hates anyone and everything that tries to knock on his door because he's scared that it might kill him, because he's the most paranoid individual in the universe. Here's Keisha and Jenko as humans. More Keisha. I do like this character. It's a pity I never used him. Nicholas. Some Abyssalites, because Abyssalites have been a figure in my lore for a very long time. An attempt at an Abyssalite mech, which is definitely not stolen from Crisis suits from the Tau. Keisha, very smug Keisha at that. Jovan again. Man, my old sketches used to be so... They used to have a lot more character, I think. Keisha again. I don't know why they have a boob window when in the apocalypse it's like wintry. And yeah, it's probably going to be very cold. I don't advise that. Arius. That's that character's name. They're like an engineer. I think I used them recently. Can't remember quite though. I don't know who this is. I've completely forgotten. But he looks cool. Definitely, the IDW comics have always been my basis for Transformers designs. But it's taken a long time getting through this one, so we're just going to keep moving. Our Abyssalite mechs. John's daughter, Autumn, and his wife. I don't know who these are either. I think that's Cascade. I don't know who this is either. I don't know why he looks like that. I think I was trying a different style. Miss Nessie, a Loch Ness monster character who they were like a wine mom who was lonely, and the only defining character I can remember that they had was that they loved doing paperwork. Yeah, that's her in like a date dress that she got stood up in. It's very unfortunate. And I think that's all this sketchbook has to offer. Yeah, seems to be it. Well, fondly remember this sketchbook. Probably one of my favorite sketchbooks that I have in the pile here. A lot of good memories, a lot of good characters. I wish I did a little more with these characters, but you know how it is. We'll see what time holds for these characters, if they will see any action anytime soon. I would like to use 7. He's a nice, whimsical character.